What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, well, they did it. They went for the DEC bond idea. They're not calling it bonds, they're calling it DEC battery, so it's still DECB. And now they've also included the ability to spend vouchers on it to create more DEC. So I want to take a couple moments, and I know I just said something controversial there, so I'm going to get into that. I'm a fan of this proposal. I have been a fan of this idea for a while. I know when it first came out, I didn't like the idea. I didn't like the idea of them, again, feeling like they were focusing on the DeFi elements rather than the game elements. But over time, before this proposal officially even came out, I started to really appreciate what they were trying to do. Even though it is a band-aid, I think that it can be very beneficial. Now, let me get all the things that I don't like out of the way. So, first of all, the fact that they're printing another, or creating another token is a little worrisome. Now, I'll get into why I think this will be okay, and as long as the DAO stays on top of it, we should be fine. But I don't like the fact that they're doing that. I don't like the fact that it is just a band-aid. I don't like that may be the main things here. Well, let's go ahead and into the proposal. But those right off the bat, those are the areas in which that I understand folks. That the way that I understand folks to be very much against this. Now, a lot of people are also saying that it causes a lot of inflation. It does not, in my opinion. This is not inflationary to DEC. Sure, you can look at it and say, yeah, through this, we are going to create 20% more DEC because you can spend 0.8 to get 1, essentially. But I actually don't view it that way. For me, DEC is still very different than DECB. And if you believe that in the future there's going to be just a massive amount of demand, then I don't think it's really taking away from that demand. Yeah, I mean, yes, literally it is taking away from that demand. But I think I was running some math before, and maybe I'll do another video focusing more on it. But it's like if we're expecting like billions, multiple tens of billions of DEC to be spent on land and other things over time, increasing the DEC in the system by 400 million in the long run, to me, is not as big of a deal. But let's go ahead and dive into what the proposal is actually about. So here you'll be able to burn DEC or vouchers. So they're trying to give a little bit of a utility, and some people are saying a soft floor to vouchers. You'll be able to burn them for the DECB tokens. Now, I was worried. The way that they designed this is actually much better than what I thought was going to happen, because the way that they designed is that you spend 0.8 DEC on a DECB token. So you get that discount no matter what the price of DEC is. Right now, you could go in, you could burn a ton of DEC at 630 Splintoshis, or if DEC is reaches close to peg and these are still available, you still get that discount. It doesn't matter what the price of DEC is. You're going to get a 20% on your future DEC spending. So DECB tokens may be used instead on a one-to-one basis. Again, this will only be for areas or activities which require the burning of DEC. So DEC would be a typical transferable cryptocurrency, which would be available within the Splinterlands website, be also able to be bought and sold on Hive and potentially bridged to other external platforms in the future. I hate that part. I really would want this to be soulbound, but that I don't think they're going to go for it, because they edited this to clarify that it would be tradable. But we can get into more of that later. So here we go. For example, if it requires 10,000 DEC to upgrade a certain building within land, players will be able to use that 10K DEC instead of DECB instead of using DEC for that upgrade. They should be interchangeable in that way. I do also like the fact that you can go in and just buy one. Before, when it was like, okay, if you wanted to get this DEC bond, you need to spend 500,000. I was like, all right, that's whale food. But we need the whales to kind of carry the load right now and help clean up some of this mess. But now everybody can get in on it, and everybody can get access to this discount. So that to me is a huge win. This is not just something for the whales to go in and take care of. Now, if you want to, you can get a 20% discount on your future purchases with as little as 1 DEC spent today. Um, so we also propose the ability to purchase DECB with vouchers, as we believe that it fits well with the main goal of vouchers tokens. So overall, such system to incentivize players. Um, did they talk about the amounts? Okay, we'll get into the specific amounts down below. So here is some of the features that they want or expect to require DEC burning in the future. So land survey potions, and I know people feel very strongly about that one way or another. Guild building and guild alliance building upgrades. Now, keep in mind, guild buildings are available now. So, this isn't all just future. And I heard Bulldog's, or I watched Bulldog's video. I agree with a lot of his points, but I also respectfully disagree with many of them. Guild buildings are available now, and you'll be able to use this DECB right at this moment, right? So, or at least once they implement it fully. Building upgrades, maintenance, and boosts and land expansion. Again, that's a year out. Future mini editions such as Orbs, Dice, and Rift Watchers, pending DAO approval. This one, I do agree with Bulldog on this because I don't want the DEC burned. I would rather it go into the DAO as something that funds the future. But I'm also a little okay with this because I think the DAO should be getting a steady drip of value in SPS with the fee, right? Taking a percentage of the fee of all market transactions. So again, I want the DAO to keep eating and to keep growing big and strong. But if this is again a one-time thing, or a sometime thing, not an ongoing thing, then I'm okay with it. And then skins and cosmetics, yeah, that's cool. Love it. I mean, that these were always supposed to be DEC, what's that called? These were always supposed to be DEC burning mechanisms anyway. So any player who's planning to participate in the above features in the future would directly benefit from burning DEC and voucher tokens. Absolutely. So once implemented, so they say here, please note that any items sold by the Splinterlands company, such as Chaos Legion, Rebellion, Tower Defense, will not be purchasable with DECB tokens. DECB will only be available for new features within the game that burn DEC tokens. What I would also want to ensure is that DEC is not tradable within the game for buying and renting cards. I think DECB should have specific utility where it gets burned as quickly as possible. It shouldn't be circulating around the economy. This is why I'm not for it. This is why I am for it being soulbound. But that being said, I want the utility of DEC, which is supposed to be the currency, right? The in-game currency of Splinterlands. I want that to remain just DEC and for DECB not to get mixed up in it. Sure, it's essentially the same value going to be traded one-to-one anyway if you were to redeem it, but this will help create the need for DEC, right? If we burn a bunch of DEC into DECB, but then we give DECB all the same utility, I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose. What you want is for DECB to have specific purposes where it's going to get burned either now or in the future, and people just hang on to it for that period of time, knowing that they're going to get that discount. But DEC should remain the primary token for everything else. So the proposal is asking the SPS stakeholder community to approve the sale of 2 billion DECB tokens for either a price of either 0.8 DEC or 0.005 vouchers. I think this comes out to one voucher equaling 200 DEC, which sets a soft-ish floor for vouchers. Currently, that would be, 12, 13 cents. Vouchers are currently at 7 cents. I would love for vouchers to go up in value and to have some utility because I love selling my vouchers every day. So please give me more ice cream money. All right, so this means once the feature is implemented, and the current goal is to have it live by the end of January, then up to a maximum of 2 billion DEC will be available for up to 60 days. Once the 2 billion DECB are sold or the 60 days are up, then no more will be available for purchase. They say that there may be future sales, but that is all based on how this goes and, more importantly, what the DAO and community decide to do. So I've been talking about this for a while. So for reference, there are currently around 6.3 billion DEC in total circulation. That's not inaccurate. That's total on Hive Engine. But there was also a lot that was bridged off of Hive Engine. And several billion, I think, has been bridged off. So we will have to account for those at some point, but I'm not as worried about them right now. I think we should clean up what's on Hive Engine first. And then, over time, we'll get the others in. So this would allow for up to 1.6 DEC, 1.6 billion DEC to be burned. That's great. My target is I want to burn. There's 2.2 million sitting on Hive Engine right now that is currently just being traded back and forth. I would love to burn all 2.2 billion of that. 1.6 billion should go a long way. We're burning, roughly a million DEC per day just through regular game activities. So if we can do that and get rid of it, that could help the price and value of DEC, in my opinion. 1.6 billion out of the two. I would actually love to see more. I would love to see more. I would love for this to be higher, but I can understand the team just wanted to be a little bit more conservative. They're also saying that additionally, there are currently 6 million voucher tokens in circulation, which does not count any unclaimed tokens. So if all 6.5 million voucher tokens were burned, or 6.5 million, that would only be 1.2 out of the 2 billion DECB. So that shows just how small of a value vouchers have, or how low the circulating supply is for that. And again, I would love for vouchers to moon. That would be great. Now, what they're saying is here, note about land survey potions. We understand a number of the community members are against the idea of an extra DEC payment option to receive increased chances of getting higher rarity and better. We feel that implementing this is going to offset some of those costs. Yeah, it will. I mean, it'll give you 20% discount on something you weren't expecting to pay. But the argument that I would provide, counter argument that I would provide is they have it with everything else. All right, they literally have it with everything else. All the packs, there are potions. Gladiator packs, there are potions. I heard with reward cards and reward chests, there used to be potions as well. So this shouldn't come as like a major surprise. And this is also why I just haven't been like super bullish on land. I haven't been like buying tons of land because for me, again, I don't like the idea of trying to create some kind of like ROI, like definitive ROI on land, when we just don't know enough. And I know I'm guilty of like putting videos out there and saying like, oh yeah, if land does such and such. But again, I'm trying to just be very high level when I cover that. And if anything, I've tried to prove through the math and through what they've given that I don't think the ROI in land is going to be very high. Plus, you're not accounting for all these extra expenses. So you got to go buy a plot off Hive Engine for $100 something bucks. Then you might have a voucher, or not a voucher, but a potion here. You might have building maintenance and whatever kind of things that they have and upgrades. But I'm getting away from the point here. This looks like it's going to be a separate community governance proposal. So we won't jump into this one too much now. I am for this. I think that more DEC sinks are better overall. Granted, I hold 2 plots of land, so I'm not as impacted by this by others, and I'm curious to see what the larger region holders have to say. But overall, I want to get the flywheel going. Some people look at this and say the team is getting desperate, and I don't say that you're necessarily wrong, but I'm desperate too. I think that the game is in free fall right now. To be very honest with you, a lot of my guild members, like high-level guild members, have decided to leave the game. So this is something where there is an important moment, and it's not really a moment, but there's an important period of time here, I think, in Q1 for the team to really get things back on track. Excuse me. And I don't even know that we need to get the flywheel going right away, but we do need to stop the bleeding. And so I think a good collection of new features and a good collection of, or the sinks not, how do I put this? The token's not bleeding and there being more sinks added, I think will be helpful in the future. All right, clearly I'm losing my voice, so I'm going to leave it here. Again, I am for this. I will be voting for it, even in its current form. I hope that the community can give the team some better ideas to massage it. And if there is a significant difference in the future, I can cover it here. But as it stands, I think that this will be an overall net positive. I don't think it causes inflation. It's a one-time thing that causes will create 20% more supply in the future, but I'm not as worried about that. Plus, it's not, I don't consider it a pre-sale because you should be able to use it on your guild buildings right away. So for someone like myself who is in a guild that doesn't have everything maxed out, I would go and take advantage of this right now. I would go burn some DEC for the DECB tokens and use it right now and not have to worry about if I'm ever even going to get future utility out of it. It's just, it has current utility, or it should have current utility, and maybe that's something that the team should clarify, that if this goes live at the end of January, guild building should be there by the first week of February or something. But that's all I have for you guys. I know there's going to be a lot of salt in the comments, but I want to hear it. So let me know, what am I missing? Or do you agree with me, or do you disagree with me? What am I missing on this? Is this, the straw that breaks your camel's back? How are you feeling about this overall? Since the beginning, since the idea first came up, I have said that I agree with it, and that I would vote for it, and that really hasn't changed now that we have the details. So I'm curious to see what other folks think of it. I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.